Hello everyone, my name Laurentius Kuncoro Probo Saputra. I'm a doctoral degree student from Mechatronic Engineering RMUTT. And for this video, I want to share and explain what is a PID controller, is a closed loop control system. So this video is my homework. And for this video, I want to explain what is a PID system as a theory, and then I would like to give some example of plan that use PID controller is my homework, and then terminology in our output graph as a PID response. So what is a control system? Control system is defined as a mechanism or a system that provide the desired response or output by controlling the input and processing system. Depending on the feedback path present in the system, the control system can be classified into following two types. For the first is open loop control system, and then for the second is a closed loop control system. So with a control system, we have some plan, and we give the input to our plan, and we can control the output. We want to control the output as our desire. So for explain what is an open loop control system and what is a closed loop control system, we can see this figure. For the first, this is open loop control system. Open loop control system is like this, in only just one line. For in the beginning, we start with the input, and we have a controller. After that, with this controller, we actuating the signal to our processing system or our plan. And then our plan or our processing system will has a response as an output. But in the open loop control system, we cannot know what is the output, or we uh, don't calculate the error from the input and the output. So it's only one line like this: input, and we have output. But we don't need calculate what is a difference between input and output. And for the second one, closed loop control system, we can see in this figure. Basically, as a control system, we also has input and we have output. But the difference with open loop control system, we can see in this line. We calculate the differences of input between the output. So we need feedback line to the comparator. From the output that already result from the plan or our processing system, we put it back to the beginning of our system before controller, and we calculate the error signal with a comparator. Plus, the input is plus, and the feedback element or the output from the plan or the processing system is a negative value. So we can know how much the error, how big the error. Yeah. So the controller can process to minimize the error from the input to output. This is the function of controller. After that, after the controller can minimize the error, also actuating the signal to the plant. So with the closed loop, the differences with the open loop is the closed loop has a feedback element to the beginning of the system, and controller can know how many the error. Before I explain further for the PID control system, in this slide, I want to explain the terminology where when we see the response graph. This is the graph response of the plan. Yeah. For the x-axis, we have time, and for the y-axis, this is the output value, and we display we make in a percent value, 0% until 160%. And there is any terminology that we should know when we see the response graph like this. This is we can get this graph is from output response, yeah, because it's output value. Okay, for the first one, set point. Yeah. For the first one is set point. Set point we can see in the blue line in this graph, in this picture, blue line. Set point is our desired output from our controller. So the system should reach the output same as or equal with our set point. I'm sorry, with our set point in this one. So to reach our set point, the system has settling time. The system has settling time. Settling time is defined as the time required for the transient response to enter and stay with plus minus 2% of steady state or final value. Yeah. Settling time is this. The time that the plant need to make the output from the process to stay or to enter within plus minus 2% and stay here and stay in this time. This is settling time. And the other is rise time. Rise time is the time required for the system response to go from rise time, this one, yeah, rise time to go from 10% until 90% of its final or steady state value. Yeah, we can measure the rise time from here until here. Okay. And also the delay. The delay is the amount of time it takes for a change in the control signal to have an effect on the process variable. Yeah, this is the delay time. When we start give the input to the controller, and the controller will respond and give the output. So the time is measured, that we call it delay. After that, we also have a overshoot. Overshoot is a situation where the output of the controller exceeds to set point. We have a set point here in 110, but the output signal is more than 110%. Yeah, so we can calculate the overshoot from the 110% until 100 around 130. Yeah, this is the overshoot. The situation where the output of the controller exceeds the set point. And also we have a steady state error. Steady state error is the final difference between the process variable and set point. The final, yeah, the final, because when we give the input, give the value or give input to uh, our process system, and the system will respond and has a output for the final. We can calculate the steady state error is a difference between the process variable or the output from the process system with the set point. And we also have underdamped. Underdamped is a process that will change slowly. We can see this graph, the output change slowly over here, slowly and gradually, and with the time is increased, the output also increase, but slowly over them. Moving the process variable, this is the process variable, the output, the process output to our desired output as a set point. Okay, but it's moving slowly and gradually. Over them is approach will begin moving to the new set point more quickly. Oh, I'm sorry. Is under them. Oh, I make a mistake. This is the for here, and over them. Based on this picture, I'm repeat my explanation. Is over them. Over them here. Over them is a process that will change slowly and gradually, moving the process variable to set point. This one, slowly and gradually. But under them, its approach will begin moving to the new set point more quickly. If we compare with over them, the under them is more quickly to respond as a response from the process more quickly, and has a overshoot here as an overshoot. After that, the output will be stable. But if we see in this picture, the under them also have a oscillation, but the oscillation will reduce as in the next time. Okay, and the other terminology is critically damped. Critically damped is one that exhibits as a response that returns to its equilibrium state as quickly as possible, without overshooting or oscillating. Yeah, this is the best, critically damped, because the controller can respond the input to give the output quickly and uh, smooth, quickly as possible, yeah, and smooth here to reach the set point. But this response doesn't has overshoot or oscillating. This is a critically damped. So after we know the output response, we can learn what is a PID controller. A PID controller is a algorithm to calculate the control signal based on three control terms. There are a proportional, integral, and derivative. To compute the output, the algorithm simply multiplies each of them by gain and sum these three addends. So we can see the formula for PID. This is the control signal. We have a three gains in here, P plus I plus D, where P and PID, we can write this function KP. For the P, we can calculate with gain P. KP is a gain for proportional times with error. Time with error. And for the integral E, we also have a KI. KI is a gain for integral and we calculate the integral error. After that we have D. D is KD. KD is a gain for the controller, and we calculate with derivative error here. So for the error, we can calculate with set point in the time t minus processing variable in the time t. So we can get the error. So from this formula, if gain is set to 0, for example, KP is 0, so we can modify this formula to another PID mechanism. So we can get KD controller, we can get PI controller, or if all gain we use, so we can get PID controller. So we can explain one by one for the P, I, and D. In this slide, we can see that the proportional term is a difference between the set point and the measure process variable multiplied by P gain or KP. This difference is referred to as the error value. So we have a set point here and we have a processing variable here. So the P controller KP multiplied by error. So we can write KP multiplied with SP minus PV. So we can see this picture. The green one is the set point. The green one is the set point. The blue one is the control signal. Is the control signal. Okay. Control signal is as an input, right? As an input. The red one is a process variable. So we can see the error. And from the set point and the processing variable, we can see that there is a steady state error. The system cannot reach the set point. So the difference is from set point and the control, processing variable is a steady state error. and here in here, right? Because after this time, in this time, the processing variable not moving again. So we can set the KP value for the gain and the effect. The for proportional is too low, we can get the response like this. But if we set the KP is too high, we also have overshoot, but the signal also oscillating here. Is more, the frequency of oscillating is too high. If we compare with the proportional with the low gain, it also has oscillating, but it's not, the frequency is not high. The but uh, the same response is the system has an overshoot. For the next is integral. Okay, sorry, this is E. Yeah. E. The term E term, the I term takes into account only the current error value. So the integral term is the proportional to the time integral of the error value. It means the I component consider the history of the error. The integral gain Ki increase the weight of this component in the actuating output. So for the integral controller, we have a Ki value and we calculate the integral from 0 to T with the SP for the error, SP minus PV. We calculate the integral error here. So for the integral, the error every time we calculate, we edit the error over the time and calculate with the Ki. So for the response Ki is like this. We have a set point here, and the control signal, the blue line, and the process variable is red line. So the system has an overshoot, but it will make the output more stable to reach the set point. Yeah, we can see here that the system has an overshoot, but they will quickly to reduce the overshoot until the system reach the set point. So what the effect if we set the integral is too high? If we set the integral is too high, so our system will give or will make the overshoot here, but the system can stabilize the output to meet the set point. But if we set the integral is too low, the system doesn't have a overshoot, but the system has a high steady state error here. And for the last, we have a derivative. The derivative term use the difference between the current and the previous error value. divided by the time between measurement. So for D controller, we have KD gain, and we calculate derivative error from SP minus PV. So for the derivative error, we can calculate with KD multiplied by current error minus previous error divided by delta T. We divide it by delta T. It is a proportional to the rate of change of the process variable. While the P term fix the current error and the I term consider the previous error, the derivative term considers the future error. So the D component compensate for the sharp fluctuation in the system, prevent it from strong overshoot and decrease oscillation. To the derivative gain, KD, change the weight of this component in the control signal. So if we set the KD 0, our system will give the output or the response is like this. There is a overshoot and oscillating. After that, this can stable as our desired output or our set point here. But to reduce the overshoot and oscillating, we can make KD is higher. So with the same set point, if the KD 1, we reduce the overshoot and reduce the oscillating. Okay. So this is the PID controller, and we can use this controller algorithm to our system. And for the tuning KP, KD, and KI, we can see these tables here, this table, to make or to tuning the gain to reach our best response, to need the best response from the our system. So for the KP, it will decrease the rise time, but small change in the settling time, but and then will increase the overshoot and decrease the steady state error if we set the KP. And if we set the KD, KD will make an effect for the system. Small change rise time, decrease settling time, decrease overshoot, and no change steady state error. If any steady state error, KD cannot make a correction. For the KI is will decrease the rise time, will increase the settling time, will increase also in overshoot. Also overshoot, settling time is increased, and eliminate a steady state error. This for the I in our integral gain. So for the example, the plan using a PID controller, we can see in this picture, we want to control the kettle for boiling the water. Okay, and we have a temperature as a set point. We want to set the temperature in 40 degree, in 60 degree, or in 80 degree, and we can compare with the open loop and the PID controller. In the left side is a open loop on or off controller, and the right side is a PID controller. We can see for the on-off controller or open loop controller, there is any ripple here. When we set the set point, in 42 or 45 degree, and the system will respond to increase the temperature for the kettle. After reach the set point here, the electronic uh, heater will cannot uh, quickly stop, but so we have an overshoot here. But after we off in 42 degree here, the heater still on and they also after meet the 42 degree, the heater will turn off, will be off. So but the effect, the heater cannot quickly uh, reduce the temperature because there is an effect for the heater. So we can see that the heater will be moving down the temperature slowly here. And after that, if the system reach again in the 42 degree, the on-off controller will control the heater to turn off again. After that, turn off, turn on, turn off. So for the 90 degree is also the same. The system will the system in process the output here. After meet the set point, the heater turn off and the temperature will decrease. After meet the 80 degrees again, the heater will turn on again and turn off again and turn on again. So for the on-off system, we has an overshoot here and the ripple. So we compare with the PID. This is for the 42 degree, 60 degree, and 80 degree. We can see that before the output reach the set point, the system or the heater already turned off. So the output can smoothly moving to the set point and make the error slowly to get the minimal error here and no overshoot. So we can see this, the response time, we can compare it for the 40, the response time. For the PID, the system can get output in 40 degree under 50 in time, under 50. But for the on-off controller, the system made the set point in 100 for the time. Yeah. With the PID controller, the system the system is faster than on-off for making or for reach the set point. And also in 80 degree, we can see the system only need maybe around 20 seconds to reach the set point. But for the time in on off to meet set point in 80, the system need 50 in time. Okay, so this is my explanation about PID controller with the terminology to read the output response graph. and then what is a PID, and the example of plan that using PID controller. I hope you can understand my explanation and you can practice or you can try this algorithm PID controller to your plan or to your experiment. Okay, thank you. See you in the next video.